This is Combat Central with Peter Klein and Ranna on Sportsnet 960 The Fan.
June 24th from the Genesis Center, Dakota presents one of the most intriguing combat sports cards in the history of Calgary. Two-division MMA champion Jesse Arnett moves into the world of boxing to take on ninth-ranked Brian Samuel. They face off in the ring next Saturday, but today they face off in our studio. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Thank you both very much for coming on.
I'm excited for the show. I'm excited for next Saturday night. Saturday night's all right for a fight, and I was born for this. I love this. I love to compete, and MMA guys show up every time, and we're going to settle this next Saturday night.
Yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to this. What was it about this fight, Brian, that piqued your interest, that made you want to welcome Jesse into the world of professional boxing?
The contract. I'll fight whoever they put in front of me. That's what I do.
Now, Jesse, what was it about the world of boxing that got your interest up a little bit? Because as we mentioned, MMA has been pretty good to you so far.
I've been at Beaumont Boxing for 4 or 5 years. I've put in some solid work with Lucas, who's a pro there. I've been training for a number of years now, and we felt it was the right time. You know, I'm waiting to make my next move in MMA. Big announcement coming soon. And it was the right time, the right place. I like the challenge. I just won a jiu-jitsu super fight 2 weeks ago. You know, I beat the Olympic silver medalist when I was 19 years old.
Wow.
I like to face challenges, and Brian Samuel's just another challenge. It's just another check on the list next Saturday night, and we're going to throw down in Cowtown.
So preparing for this fight, how is a training camp, or how was this training camp different for you than other MMA training camps would have been?
Well, we haven't been kicking. That's for sure.
There's no ground and pound.
Yeah, we've been in the gym, and I've been doing my work. I've built my rounds up, doing 8 rounds with top-notch boxers. The cardio is a lot different. I've been running a lot. You know, I really respect the sport of boxing and what it takes to fight at this level. I grew up with wrestling. It's also tough, but they're both tough equally in different ways. And like I said, I met the challenge head on, and I'm the best athletic version, best striker I've ever been right now. I'm surprising myself day to day, and next Saturday night I'll surprise myself again in front of my friends and family in a sold out packed Genesis Center. Main event every time. You can't follow me. You got to put Big Cat on last, and that's just the truth.
We are chatting with the two main eventers for Dakota at June 24th at the Genesis Center. I'm Peter Klein. He is Ranna.
You two have gone back and forth with each other on social media. Seeing you two right now, there's not a whole lot of animosity between you two. There's a lot of respect for each other. Is this going to continue after the fight, mutual respect, or is there some real hatred there between you two?
At the end of the day, I like to compete and I like to win, and that's the only thing on my mind right now. I can't think about what's going to happen after the fight. My only thought is this week, finishing camp strong. This is the most prepared I've ever been for any battle. At the end of the day, too, you know, I'm the big dog and I'm the big cat. And if me and this guy were to go outside right now and settle this would be probably one of the easiest fights of my life.
You might want to shut it, boy.
Unarmed combat, bro. Unarmed combat. Yeah, I'm going to hop in your ring with you and box with you. But I'm an ace at unarmed combat. And you don't know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You don't know wrestling. And that's why I'm hopping in your ring, and I'm going to do the sweet science with you.
But you know what I do
and
know?
And I'm going to box you up.
I know I ain't and I know you probably are.
Yeah, you won't go out cold. And that's just the reality of the situation. I know the techniques, and I'm taught. But I'm not fighting you in MMA. We couldn't sell that match. It would last 35 seconds. I have to fight you in boxing. I have to step into your world next Saturday like a man with the 8-ounce gloves on. Remember, I only fight in 4-ounce gloves. You check out the Roland Delorme fight. We're gonna go in 8-ounce gloves next week.
I've watched it.
We're gonna go in 8-ounce gloves next week, and we're gonna find out. Like I said.
When you hear talk like that, when you hear like we couldn't do this in my world because it would be over very quickly.
We couldn't.
Go.
We have to do this in boxing. I respect.
I wouldn't
boxing.
take the pay cut.
I get paid more than you think in MMA, brother. I don't work. This is my full-time job. That's the difference. I got 3 or 4 training sessions in by the time you're done work, and that's not your fault. That's just where I've built my life right now. You know, 7 a.m., 11 a.m., 3 p.m. and then 5 p.m., 6 p.m. That's what I'm doing. I'm working all day and I'm recovering after. And then I do the same thing tomorrow.
When you hear that about the differences in training, what's your response to that?
I think he looks down on fans, and I'm not a huge fan of it.
You ask my fans, I'm loved. Huge.
Yeah,
Big
your
support
fans.
here. Big
I
support.
respect all fans.
These guys in Red Deer, they don't know what they're saying. They're bashing me online, but I like it. It fuels me. It motivates me. Like I said, I like the challenge, and I'm gonna be ready next Saturday night, and that's it.
The fan thing is an interesting one because you're coming from Red Deer, which isn't that far away. A lot of times, if you were coming from Red Deer to Calgary, you'd probably be the home fighter. But in this case, this is kind of Jesse's hometown. Do you kind of feel like the road team in this fight at all?
Not at all. Like I've stolen the show on every Dakota show there's been. They tried to set me up as an opponent against a hometown boy the first time. What happened to him? He got the expletive deleted smacked out of him.
You mentioned in there you had seen his fights before. How do you prepare for someone who hasn't had a pro boxing fight literally ever? Like there is no tape on him as a boxer. Like how do you prepare? Or does that change your preparation going into a fight?
Not really.
No? Just someone to punch in front of you?
Pretty much, yeah.
At the end of the day, he's going to be very surprised with my boxing skills. You can talk to my coaches. You can talk to anybody. I give good boxers a very difficult time. And even before I knew boxing, I would beat them in the first 1 or 2, 3 rounds, and then they would catch up later. And this was 3 years ago when I was putting the work in. Now that I've put solid camps in,
Now you old.
I'm going 7, 8 rounds, and I'm controlling guys who box with 50 amateur fights, 10 pro fights, whatever it is, more than 10 pro fights. I know what I'm capable of. And if anything, this has matured me as a fighter. And you're not going to see a wild MMA guy next Saturday night. You're going to see the sweet science. And I'm going to represent the sport of boxing with class. And I respect boxing. And I'm there to box. I'm there to box.
I'm getting fired up for this
Me
fight.
too.
Just
Me
listen.
too.
This has been a lot of fun. Still chatting here with the main event fighters. June 24th at the Genesis Center. Dakota presenting again. Fight card that I am incredibly intrigued by as Jesse Arnett and Brian Samuel are stopping by today. This is Brian, as far as I know, anyway, the first fight that you're the headliner. You're the main event. You're on the posters, everything like that. Does that add any pressure for you going into this fight?
Another day at the office.
Yeah, it's just. Whenever your fight is,
I'm just a man with a job to do.
Now, Jesse, on the other end, you've been in this spot before.
This is my 6th main event straight. I'm the A side every time. I'm the biggest draw in the city, and I'll say it again, like a broken record. You're gonna see next weekend, 100% why. It's a whole different ball game when you fight me. Everyone says, "Oh, I had an adrenaline dump, this and that." Always excuses, but it's another level. It's a different atmosphere from the walkout. The build-up, the anticipation, waiting all night. It's going to be fun. I'm super excited for this. I'm super excited for the challenge. And I like his style. I like what he does. He comes to fight. I like guys who fight, and I'm going to be there to fight him. You won't catch me running. You'll catch me right there with him fighting. And
Catch you.
he comes
flush.
forward. He comes forward. No, my left cross is going to catch you. No red on red crime. It's going to be a left cross on the chin.
Already calling a shot.
I was just gonna ask what their game plan
Smiled
was.
at.
I was just gonna ask what their game plan was, but hey, can't.
Yeah. What about doing stuff like this? Because a lot of times we hear fighters don't like to see their
Yeah,
opponent
yeah.
until they absolutely have to, which normally would be the weigh-in. But we're a week away, and you guys are sitting not 5 feet from each other. What's this experience been like? Do you mind seeing who you're fighting a couple of days before the bout?
I'm coming from the amateurs. I've fought a lot of the guys that have come up in the pros. I've fought in the amateurs. Like it's just he ain't Jesse Arnett when that bell rings. He's everybody who's ever put me down, tried to tell me I couldn't do something, tried to put the weight on me. It don't happen no more.
It's funny because you're coming from this perspective of it's me against the world type of mentality. Has that always been your game plan?
I've finally got a shot at being something other than just another Red Deer statistic, and that kind of feels nice to me.
Okay. What about you?
Same thing with me. I grew up with amateur wrestling. I've been involved at high-level sports since I've been 16. I joined when I was 13, and say you lost to the guy one weekend, well, you're going to get a chance at him next weekend.
Mhm.
And then the following weekend, you're going to get another chance at him. So over 5 years, you kind of meet your competition. You know who the best guys are. You know who you're going to scrap in the end. So, I grew up around my competition all the time. This is just preparing me for the big show where I'm going, the press conferences. and all that. I'm ready. It's another day at the office, and
Don't take my line.
it's a part. It's a part of the game, and if you can't handle this, then you can't handle fighting. It's part of the game now, especially in today's era.
Yeah.
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 In the pre-fight video that was sent out, Brian, you said that you've only been knocked down once, and that was in a fight that you shouldn't have taken. Jesse countered that by saying, "Well, this is another fight you probably shouldn't have taken." Jesse, on that point, what makes you a tougher opponent that Brian maybe shouldn't have taken the fight, in your words?
I have no idea who the guy was that he fought and lost to. I had no idea. I'm just.
Then you should have done your homework.
I'm just worrying about what I can do, and I know what I can do. At the end of the day, I'm a guy you shouldn't have been in there against, and that's just 100% proof. Truth.
Brian, that fight though, that you get knocked down, and you said it's a fight you maybe shouldn't have taken. Did that force you to kind of reassess how you were taking fights and your game plan?
It
for
let
your
me
career?
reassess the business is what it let me do.
Okay.
And pro boxing is it's a gritty business, and you got to play it smart. I took that on 2 weeks' notice against a guy from Chris Johnson's gym, Michael Brennan. Hell of a nice guy too. But business was business. He needed to fight. They went on to fly him out here, and I'm not looking for the easiest step. That's what I respect Jesse on. I ain't looking for the easiest one out there to try and pad my record. I'm looking for who's gonna bring it. Like, I wish I could fight in an empty room, but unfortunately, all we got is a packed house. You know,
Yeah.
but
You'll have to settle for a sold out Genesis Center on June
if all you
24th.
guys could just shut up for a couple of minutes.
And that's the thing, you know, in a sold out arena, when the cameras are on and the lights, you know, if I was to fight this guy in my gym, you know, he might do a little bit better than me, a little bit better than he would next week. But with the cameras and the lights and the action and the crowd, I've always performed. Nobody's ever outperformed me in a big match situation.
Chatting with Jesse Arnett and Brian Samuel ahead of their main event fight at the Genesis Center June 24th, with Takata putting the fight on. I asked him before if Brian felt like he was representing the sport of boxing. Do you feel like you're kind of carrying the MMA flag into this fight on Saturday night, or is this just Jesse Arnett going into a boxing fight?
In a way, maybe. I don't know. I'm there to box. I've been focused on boxing 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week for the last 2.5 months. So MMA is not going to help me Saturday night. You know, I can have 100 MMA fights, but we're going to box. It's the sweet science, baby, you know? And I'm prepared to go in there and box technically. And I got hard shots. I'm unpredictable. I got power in both hands. I'm long for the division. I'm big for 140 pounds. I'm going to be 158 pounds by the time we hop in the ring. Easily. You know, I'm going to be the bigger man in there. I'm going to have, it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see Saturday night. I'm the bigger man.
Jesse said this fight's at 140, which is obviously factually correct. Brian, we were talking to you before things started. 140 isn't a weight you've made or had to make in a while. Anyway, does that change? Has that changed how you've been preparing for the fight, or anything like has having to get down to 140 affected how you've been preparing?
No, not at all. I've got so much energy right now. Like, I'm just chomping at the bit.
Finally, for you guys, when the bell rings, Saturday, June 24th, I don't need you guys to give me like entire breakdown of your game plan, because that would be ridiculous with the other guy sitting right beside you. But how do you see the fight going down? Brian, we'll start with you. When you visualize this fight against Jesse Arnett going down, how does it play out in your mind?
I come in prepared for. I expect the unexpected. I have a general game plan with what I'm gonna do.
Right.
And other than that, we take it from the first round and that point on. I know he's a southpaw, and that's what all of my sparring partners have been lately. And like I said, I've fought many of them in the amateurs.
You haven't fought a southpaw like me.
Did you guys hear something?
You haven't fought a southpaw like me. My left cross will find you. I'm prepared to go 6 rounds. Easy.
Oh, don't
Easy,
worry.
prepared to go 6 rounds. But if the finish is there, I'll take it.
It
Like
won't be.
always. Like always. Not. How many finishes I got in a row? I'm a finished guy.
You got finished by your barber.
You like that? It's a nice haircut, boy. And we're going to do part 2 of that video. Carlos, what up, homie? I'll see you Tuesday.
His happy ending.
Wow. He said that he's expecting you to come forward. Is that kind of where you see this, just like you two meet in the middle, and it's kind of one of those cartoons where it's just like a big ball of dust and you see some like limbs sticking out every now and then? Is it going to be kind of a brawl type fight, do you think?
There'll be no brawling on my end. I'm going to
Okay.
technically box him.
Okay.
100%.
None.
No? Oh, yeah.
None. You'll see. You'll
Okay.
see.
Okay, just saying. Jesse, same question. I asked him a few, but when the bell rings, June 24th, how do you see this playing out for yourself?
I believe in my team. I believe in my coaches. It was a hard camp. We put in the work. I've been in a lot of fights. It's kind of like controlled chaos, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna play it as it goes. I can't plan anything. I can't worry about what he's gonna do. I gotta worry about me. And I know the stuff that we're doing is working. We've brought in phenomenal boxers with way more experience than me, and I'm making them look bad. This new control I have, and this is only going to help me in the long run.
And now, Brian, you're shaking your head at that. You disagree with this helping him in the long run?
There's a lot of damage in professional boxing, and I bring a lot of it.
Yeah.
If you bring what you brought last month with my buddy Curtis, who come off the couch, he didn't get one sparring session. You went the full 5 rounds with him. Good fight, but if that's the same thing, then it's gonna be a hard night for you.
You do realize I was coming down.
You were
to
just taking it easy on him?
143 pounds. He
And
outweighed me
Kurt
by
was
10 pounds.
and I'm gonna outweigh you by 10 or 12 pounds too. It's the same thing. I weigh the
Not
same.
the
as
night
Kurt.
of. Like we were almost 10 pounds off on the scales.
Yeah.
He even said normally that fight wouldn't get taken. I'm like, normally.
No,
you
I
ain't getting
agree.
in
The
there with
commission
Brian.
has to agree to a weight, and I think he was a little bit over.
They put it in my court, and I said, you know what, give it to me.
Props to Kurt for stepping up on 4 or 5 days, but
Oh, most definitely.
I'm prepared. I like what I saw. I got better feet. I can move. We're gonna put the matrix on him.
Now, Brian, you are 9th ranked in the country in your weight class right now.
That's respectable.
There you go.
You guys hear something?
You're,
Exactly.
You're 9th in your weight class. This is the first time that you're headlining a card. So this is probably the most marquee matchup you have had. How do you think, if this fight goes the way you want it to, how can you propel yourself from this fight to bigger and better things going from here?
I'll worry about that when the time comes.
Okay.
One fight at a time. I got we got our eyes on some stuff, and like I said, I'm pretty bleak with the specifics. So no, people are listening. I don't like to be
Keep the cards close.
yeah.
to the
Let
chest.
it ride.
All right.
The last time there was this much animosity in a room was when you threatened to punch me on the
True.
fantasy football show that we did that once.
Yeah.
Did you guys settle it or?
No, because I know how that would have gone, and not well for me. No.
we work together.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes not well, but we work together. Gentlemen, this has been a lot of fun.
it's been
Like I
great.
said, you can feel like there's some tension here. Can you guys wait a week to get this done in the ring?
Like I said, we have to, because if we went right now, it's just facts, man.
Seems like you disagree.
You've never
with those
seen me
facts.
street fight,
It
boy.
doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt. I've been wrestling for 13
I'm a
years.
Scottish headbutter.
No, I agree. And the thing is I'm not a street fighter. I'm not out to hurt people on the street. This is just facts. At unarmed,
I'm doing this so I don't
at
hurt
unarmed
people on the
combat.
street.
Unarmed combat. We couldn't sell the fight. We couldn't. We couldn't do it because it would last. Jiu-Jitsu's unfair. It really is. And if you don't know the techniques of jiu-jitsu, it doesn't matter. You'll just go out cold. You can be as tough as you want, but you just go out cold. Especially a guy who takes necks. I take necks. I take ranked guys' necks. And that's why we're hopping in the boxing ring, because we're going to box him. We have to box because we couldn't do it any other way. It'd be a 35, 36 second fight.
All right. Man, I'm fired up for this
Yeah.
fight. June 24th at the Genesis
Next
Center.
week.
It's going to be a ton of fun. You guys, thank you so much for stopping by and doing this today. Like I said, I know sometimes you may not want to see the person that you're scrapping with just the week before, but you guys have been awesome. So thank you guys for coming in today. Really
Hey,
appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thanks
you,
for having
guys.
me.
Calgary, don't miss me scrap. This is the last time you will get to see the Big Cat fight in Calgary for $50, and I'll guarantee that. Make
Last
it
time
happen.
you'll get to see him walk.
Red on red, nothing. Just get your tickets for Dakota. It's going to be a good show. The card's stacked from top to bottom. A lot of fair, even matchups. And big shout out to Dennis and Mike, who do everything to make this show happen. I'm more excited for this Dakota event than I have been my last 4 or 5 MMA fights.
Does this mean I can say the 7 words you can't say on television?
No, don't say that.
We'd really appreciate
And
it.
I'd like to apologize, Sportsnet 960, for swearing. I think I only did twice.
Yeah,
I
that's
only
the thing,
counted
like,
one.
Like, all due respect to both of you guys, but even if this fight for some reason didn't happen, the card June 24th at the Genesis Center is stacked.
Yes.
I'm trying to convince my girlfriend to get out of the vacation we're taking in Toronto just to lay it like one more day. That would be great. But unfortunately, I'm losing that battle very one-sided. Boys, this was a ton of fun. If you are in Calgary, you can check it out at the Genesis Center June 24th. We're going to take a break. Oddly enough, we have pro wrestling talk coming up to follow this. When we come back here on Combat Central on Sportsnet 960 The Fan.